Hey guys, welcome back to the AddMeGamers channel. As always, this is Dan, continuing my StarCraft 2 commentary, and today we have Game 3 between TSLPolt and AcerBly. This map is Shakira's Plateau. It's a very, very large map, actually, between the two players. So overall, this really does cut down the actual amount of initial beginning game harass, as the map is too damn large, so by the time the players usually get there, they couldn't be bothered. So mainly in such large maps, usually the players just concentrate on building up their own bases than being able to harass the other player, and all they do is mainly just scout out and not really harass, as the map is too large. And by the time the players get to the other side, they actually do have a couple of units, so not really much of a harass. Anyways, on the top left corner of this map we do have TSLPolt as the red turn player, and on the bottom right we do have AcerBly as the Zerg player. So it is Z versus T, nothing really special. We do know that this, of course, is the continuation of the Msi Pro Cup Tournament, which just happened some time back. So TSLPolt is moving down with that supply depot. We should probably see the same as he did before with that barracks and that secondary supply depot, maybe moving down with that second base as well. We do have, of course, overlords spreading across the map. We do have two overlords going to the bottom left, top right, and that Zergling most probably. No, the drone going to the top left as well. So, of course, the drone will hit the jackpot. He knows where he is, and those overlords will immediately be routed up towards TSLPolt's base. So Bly obviously going down with that secondary hatchery, of course, followed by the spawn pool, I do believe. Same play as before. Both the players are playing very similar as in they played in game 2. Same build up, so same structure. So really interesting to see if they're going to actually produce different types or try different strategies in terms of this gameplay. Yeah, we do have that spawn pool, obviously followed by the second hatchery. Second command center up, of course, that drone gets dropped, trying to harass that drone itself. Those overlords are going to be routed, or this one actually decided to stay on that secondary base just to keep vision of that high ground from that ramp in case any units do come up. That overlord is going to be moved forward, so might be used for sacrificial scouting, time will tell. And here's going for that wall, as we did presume. That supply depot and barracks is coming online. So let's take a look at the production tab. Nothing really happening, everybody droning up, getting those crystals online as soon as possible. So very, very nice smooth play by both players. In the previous game they actually did manage to build up pretty quickly, of course, in terms of AcerBly. AcerBly did have a massive advantage in the previous game. He did macro up very nicely, got a lot of bases, moved that creep spread really throughout the whole map, and got that map domination pretty much online, and that economy, and did manage to counter everything TSLPolt's build that was being put up. So TSLPolt was building up, of course, a marine heavy. AcerBly countered with infestors. Then, of course, TSLPolt started producing those medevacs. AcerBly countered with corruptors. So really, TSLPolt was substantially behind in terms of strategy-wise to deal with AcerBly's build. Bly was really keeping up the pace, if not making the pace and creating the pace and creating the build in terms of how Polt is going to counter. But Polt really didn't counter at all. He never produced any marauders. He really was caught off guard. I don't really know exactly what he did. He did put a lot and invested a lot of resources. Here comes that scout out. He's going to be taken up pretty much, but he did see what he wanted to see. Unfortunately, he didn't move back. Let's just take a look at that. No, he didn't move back, so you never know. He might have had something hidden here, but no, he did scout out everything. So far so good for TSLPolt. He knows what he needed to know in terms of that scout. So really, Polt threw a lot of resources into getting those starports up and early, and tried that Banshee harass, but without the cloak, that Banshee harass was a complete failure, and that really cost him the resources, and I do believe that really cost him the game. He could have used those resources in terms of making that initial Banshee harass, which did come to utter failure, as AcerBly was already prepared and had those spores throughout his bases as well to cover that Banshee harass. He should have at least get them cloaked, and without cloaked Banshee harass, especially AcerBly was already prepped. He did manage to take them out pretty quickly, and we do have that reactor, so we should see a little bit of early Hellion harass. I do believe double Hellions should be coming online here. Yes, we do have Hellion harass by TSLPolt, very nice. So this might prove to be effective. Of course, those queens trying to make that wall to prevent anybody coming from up, of course, throwing down those tumors. This one too busy throwing the larvae to increase the hatchery larvae spawn rate, and we do have the evolution chamber. So far so good. Very nice play from both people. Really interested to see if this Hellion harass is going to prove vital. It is really vital for that Terran player to keep the Zerg player at bay, especially not being able to build up to substantially later on. Later games with Zerg players are pretty much end story for the Zerg. Very nice kiting. It should be pretty much fry the rest of the Zerglings, so he's going to mop up the rest of the Zerglings. But now he knows that Hellion harass is coming. As you can see, those queens are going to be prepared to deal with the Hellion harass. Hellions with those queens are released. You should counter, you should go around and still dive and go into the base. I don't know why he's going around. He's going to go for that third hatchery, but it's not going to really do anything. He should charge in anyways. Those queens won't really be able to take out these Hellions anyways, and the longer he waits, the more time he gives. 4 Hellions should pretty much do it. He should really move in. I don't know why he's holding out. I don't know why he's actually holding out. We do have 2 more, of course, Hellions in play. Finally, Marauders and 2 Marines. So he is going for those creep tumors. He obviously cancelled. AcerBly canceled that tumor. This queen is pretty much doing quite a bit of damage, though. Those Hellions not really doing much against these queens. That queen might even drop, but he cancelled another tumor. And is he going to put a little bit of infuse? He is going to probably infuse. I do believe he's going to throw down an infuse to keep this queen alive. But let's see if what exactly is going to happen, though. These 5 Hellions really buying time. I don't know why he's giving the time for AcerBly. Those queens wouldn't drop those Hellions. He should have really charged in and did as much damage as possible. And the longer he waits, of course, the more production he is. We do have those double spine crawlers coming down and those Zerglings. Really, again, this Hellion harass by Polt failed. I don't know why people get deterred when they see that 1-2 queen in the front of the base and they will not push out with those Hellions. That queen can't drop these Hellions at all. Takes a lot of time, and by that time they could charge in and do a lot of damage. It's too late now. We do of course have a couple of Balings as well morphing in, so those Balings should pretty much mop up these Hellions. That's it. The Hellion harass is a complete fail by TSLPolt, but seems that he's not even going for that harass anymore. He decided to hold off. He's going for that Hellion Marauder Marine push, and he's going to be supported by those medevacs. No, not yet. We do of course have the stim research coming on, the combat shield as well, and armor level 1. Of course the 1-1 upgrades are coming on, and centrifugal hooks for those Balings are of course being finished. Here comes that spine crawler. A little bit too late. By the time it gets placed down, it might be taken out. No, yes, it is already halfway through, and it's going to be taken out. A little bit too late placements. Here comes those Balings. Balings of course going for those Marines. Very nice spread by those Marines. Unfortunately, most of the Marines do get dropped, but those Marauders do manage to sustain and are continuing the push. Of course, these queens are going to drop pretty quickly. More reinforcements by those Hellions. Hellions are going to pretty fry up those Zerglings. A hell of a lot more Hellions move in and more Marauders streaming across the map, and a scan comes down. It should be pretty much able to mop up the rest of the tumors and that spine crawler. Is he going to move up for the 3rd base? Yes, he is. Very smart move by TSLPolt. He really wants to take that economical damage to AcerBly as much as possible before he can retaliate, and really nothing he can do, even though a few Marines might be taken off guard. But the actual main push, really backed by those Hellions, should pretty much mop up the space itself. So 3rd base drops, 3rd hatchery drops, more reinforcements coming down, more Balings morphing in, and these Balings should pretty much prevent these reinforcements coming down. Of course, some of the units from the main push move down to try to reinforce those reinforcements so they don't get picked up, but of course those Balings do manage to bust and take out a substantial sum of those reinforcements, but still a very, very nice push by TSLPolt. TSLPolt really on the aggressive end now, moving forward. Another scan drops, taking out those tumors, and gonna be finally moving up that ramp. He should be able to drop this hatchery as well, so that's another hatchery down, more resources lost, and really AcerBly really can't do anything. More Zerglings, more Balings moving down, trying to retreat with those of course Terrans, but of course those Terrans do get mopped up, and more reinforcements come down. 2 more Hellions, a couple of more Marauders, and 2 Marines. Those Marines are getting dropped so quickly because of the continuous Baling harass by AcerBly, and that's really it. I don't know why AcerBly is still holding on for dear life. He is trying to sustain. He has 18 more Zerglings coming on, but nothing really he can do. Of course, more reinforcements, that being 2 more Hellions and 2 more Marines and 2 more Marauders. 20 more Zerglings, but the 2nd base for AcerBly drops, and he is of course retreating to his primary base, and the rest should be mopped up pretty quickly. And of course TSLPolt is making sure to clear up everything before moving forward. He really wants to mop everything up, to clean it up, to make it even a little bit more difficult. More Balings coming in, so he's going to be trying with those Balings again and going for those Marines, and pretty much even mopped up those Marauders. Nice surround by those Zerglings, but still I don't believe he'll be able to recover at all. This is just really buying time. TSLPolt on the advantage side, of course, with his 3rd command center online. Those resources are going to be pouring in pretty quickly. The borrowing research coming online as well for AcerBly. Nothing really he can do. All he's going to be doing is keeping him at bay with those Balings, but at the moment TSLPolt gets a substantial army, he should be able to pretty much push through, as really those Balings are keeping AcerBly alive so far. The economy wise, let's take a look. We do have, of course, units lost. We do have 136 to 55, so as you can see, TSLPolt really took care of that. Let's take a look at the resources. There you go. You have 4,008 to 8,000, so really double the amount of resources you have lost by AcerBly. There's really nothing he can do. This is just a matter of time, and he knows it. But it's good. It's nice to see the spirit of really fighting to the dear end. So the game is going to continue. Of course, those medevacs are going to give that desired last adrenaline push required for those Marine Marauders to keep them alive, especially with that stim once it hits on. So those Marines and Marauders should pretty much, he's just checking in case that third base did come up, maybe a fourth base as well. Just wants to make sure that nothing is there, and he knows those medevacs did give that scout. So he's going to be moving down again to that secondary base. Here comes a small little nice little push by TSLPolt. Of course, we do have those infestors going to be placing down those fungals, so that pretty much should hopefully take care. But again, those Hellions are going to back up this nice Terran ball, and that infestor drops, and those Balings as well get target fire down, and that scan's going to drop again, more tumors, and those Balings are pretty much pushed into the corner. Very nice fungal placement, but not really what's required. The majority of the units are going to pretty much stay alive, as those medevacs are going to keep at least that one Marine alive. We do have more Hellions moving in, of course. Fried infestors being dropped and burnt by those Hellions, and that's pretty much it. Again, a nice bio-ball movement, a nice reinforcement by double medevacs. AcerBly knows that that's the end, and he calls it a good game. A very nice play by TSLPolt, very nice counter. He decided to change his strategy and didn't go for those initial Banshee harass like he did prior, and he decided to go all out with actually a Hellion, Marauder, and Marine push. So this is it for Game 3 in terms of this matchup, and see you guys later, and as always, happy gaming.